Welcome to Royal Legacy, where we will explore the rich athletic history and deep family connections of BYU sports. Join us as we honor the past, celebrate the present, and look forward to the future of the BYU Cougars. Here's your host, Lauren McClain.
How's it going, everyone? I'm Lauren McClain, and welcome to Royal Legacy, where we dive deep into the family connections of BYU sports. Joining me today are husband and wife, BYU Tracks Krystie and Jace Jensen. Jace is on the sprints team running the 400 and 400 meter hurdles, and Krystie is on the BYU distance team running the 800 meter. And best of all, they're expecting their first baby, a little girl, in just a few months. Thank you guys so much for being on with me today.
Thank you. This is so fun.
This is really fun. And we have to mention that Krystie is one of our student producers for the show. So you're incredible. It's fun to actually interview you. So congratulations too on your pregnancy, you guys. That's crazy.
Thank you. Thank you. It's so exciting. It's just fun. I don't even believe it still. Even when she kicks now and then, I'm like, there's an actual baby. And then,
is that an alien? Is that, it's a crazy feeling. I'm super excited for you guys. So we'll talk about your pregnancy a little bit later, but you two come from completely different parts of the world, which I actually love. Krystie, you're from New Zealand, and Jace, you're born and raised in Utah, in Bountiful, Utah. Yep. So Krystie, how did the two of you end up finding each other?
It's just kind of crazy and really funny because, yes, we both ended up here. BYU, it's the track team. I had a crush on Jace from the moment I met him, and everybody knew it. Everyone on the track team knew that I liked him, and I think he was a little bit scared of that and of me. But yeah, we just met through track, and we became just best friends. We were best friends for the longest time first. And then, we got married.
Jace, I got to hear that from your perspective. Did Krystie actually scare you?
Yeah. I mean, she was, it's a little bit intimidating. Women's distance is incredibly fast and she's part of it. And so it's that elite status that she carries around. And it was intimidating. Yeah. I would say.
And she seems very confident. And It sounds like she just let it known that she was interested. I love that. I think that's great. Jace, now that you guys are married, have there been any cultural differences that the two of you feel like you've had to adjust to?
I don't think we really had to adjust to anything. There's just a few words that sometimes I may not understand or know exactly. Just different lingo, mostly.
What about for you, Krystie?
I think what I've always loved about him is that he didn't, he reminded me of someone back home. He reminds me of my dad. And so, yes, he's American, but, when I first met him, I'm like, oh, you don't really, you don't act or sound like some of, the other people, I would meet in class or on the track team. He just seemed like home. And so I think there's just little things that I'm like, oh, that's different and, culturally different, but for the most part, I think we just blended so well that I don't really notice.
He just felt like home. I think that's sweet. Krystie, what brought you from New Zealand all the way to Utah to run track for BYU?
Yeah, so I think most people in New Zealand within sports, we all just want to come to America in general. It's the best here. We've got the best schools, best coaches, best facilities. And so I knew that that's what I wanted to do. And I had actually committed to Oklahoma State verbally. And then I got a message on Instagram from my coach, Coach Taylor, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to BYU. Because everyone knew of her and everyone knew of BYU and how good they were, but then the opportunity came up for me and I was like, yeah, I'm going to BYU. So that's kind of how that happened.
And were you a member of the church at the time?
Mm-hmm. Born and raised, yeah.
That's awesome. Jace, you were an incredible high school runner yourself. You won state many times, it looked like. What was your journey like getting to BYU?
Initially, when I started track, it was for soccer. I wasn't even I didn't have any plans with college, actually, until I started running track and had a really good season. And my coach now, Kyle Grossarth, gave me a call and said, hey, we're interested. We'd love to have you here. And I was ecstatic because it wasn't even part of my plan yet with college.
So you were wanting to continue your soccer career instead of track?
Yeah, I quite literally signed up for soccer to stay in shape or signed up for track to stay in shape for soccer that upcoming season. So it was kind of definitely a divine moment for me.
Wow.
He only started running when he was like a junior, was it, Jace, in high school?
Yeah.
So pretty late on in like running careers compared to most people. And then he was really good at it, which is like kind of sucks because he's good at everything. But
Krystie's like, I hate this. That is pretty incredible though, that you didn't really have any former training. And then if you go to your BYU bio, it's like Utah 5A champion and there's a bunch of these things. So that's an incredible thing. You're both seniors and have been in Provo since 2021. What has BYU meant to you both as athletes and as a couple as you look back at this stage of life? We'll start with Krystie.
I think like just looking back at this time that we've been here, like it's been obviously not every school that you're going to go to is going to be perfect. And honestly, to me, BYU is pretty close to perfect. Like, what I love is that we can go to school and also pursue our sport, but with people who are like-minded and come from similar morals and values. And with athletics competing for BYU, yes, we compete for ourselves, but it's so cool to be able to compete for our school and our church as well. And to be able to be an example to other people that we compete against, just because I never served a mission. And so to me, I've looked at my time here as serving a mission that I've loved. Yeah.
Jace, what about for you?
So along similar lines with Krystie, I think, especially the last few things that she said, it's really been a blessing to be part of a school that has the standards it believes in and how we uphold it, because we've been on travel trips where it's so exciting to have, I'll just say, like BYU fans everywhere through the church. Then they look at BYU with admiration and our impact on everyone, everywhere we go. And I think that's been something that I've been a part of many experiences where we have a positive impact with a host at a track meet or some officials, or at the University of Texas, there was the building management for the football stadium, and he remembered us from the years before. Every year we've come, and our group specifically, and has always pulled us aside and has like talked to us. And I don't know if you really get that anywhere else.
And you guys, not only that, but you've been a part of some incredible teams, right? Surrounded by incredible athletes and coaches. Also, it's unique to marry someone within your same sport, especially, your same team in college. So I feel like athletes marry each other all the time because you kind of know what each other are going through. But to marry someone like in the same sport and on the same team is pretty crazy. What's that been like for each of you? Krystie?
It's actually so fun because we go to our workouts. We're on separate teams, but we'll see each other and we're like, oh, hi. And yes, we're doing like separate workouts and stuff, but it's so good knowing that if I'm having a bad day or I'm in a lot of pain after a workout, he'll be there to like help me. And he'll also be there to encourage me in reps. I'll always hear him screaming, go Chris, like you got it. And it's comforting having your person there through those moments too, that they might not really get the opportunity to do that otherwise.
Jace, what would you say?
Along the same exact lines, it's been really relieving for me to have someone that understands the same sport that I do to a similar level as me, with the same amount of passion and energy behind it, because I wouldn't say that track is an unattractive sport just because of the grit of it, but it is there's a lot of variables that go into it that I feel like are overlooked, and I'm very passionate about it. And maybe it's a flaw, but I can get kind of frustrated when people kind of oversimplify the sport. And so it's really I just appreciate Krystie's understanding when I race bad or when I race well. Her support honestly has helped me with a lot through this last season, especially.
Someone who knows the ins and outs of exactly what you're doing and can relate as well. Krystie, do you guys train together very often, or do you prefer to keep your workouts separate?
Because we're on different teams and different event groups as well, we don't train with each other very often or at all. But we do, because our events are so similar, like middle distance and then long sprints. We occasionally will have similar workouts. But I did do, when I was 15 weeks pregnant, I joined them just for fun. We did 300s on just around the track on the grass. And it was just fun to be running with them and beside them rather than like separately doing different workouts. That was fun. But usually we're pretty separate.
Jace, do you just love watching her run? Like, that's just got to be such a cool thing. You just get to watch each other do almost every day what you're so passionate about, right?
Yeah. And she's a very, I'll say, pretty runner too. The way she runs is very just smooth, efficient, and it's just pretty to watch.
I was watching your videos, Krystie. It is true. It is true. You have a beautiful stride.
Thank you, but no.
Jace, you run several 800s in your college career, even though you're a sprinter. Could you ever see yourself switching to middle distance like Krystie?
No.
How come?
I believe that the 800 is the most painful race physically, and mentally. It's long enough that it feels like, for me as a sprinter, a really long time, but then you still get the lactic burn from a sprint. And so it's just the worst of all the worlds pain-wise. So I do not like running 800s.
Watching him run 800s is kind of the funniest thing ever, because before and during and after, because I'll just be watching him like warm up and he knows the pain that's coming. And so he looks just a little scared and it's so funny to watch, but he's pretty good at it. I reckon he'd be a great 800 meter runner.
Anticipatory pain. The 400's horrible. The 800, right? Even worse. So, Krystie, you used to be a sprinter in high school. Is there anything you miss about those shorter distances?
Yeah, I guess they're just so different. Like the 800, I have a little bit of time to think during a race, and I can think about like moving or making moves. But in this like short sprints or even the 400, like you're just going all out, and your mind kind of you're not thinking about anything. So I miss maybe that, that I don't have to think in those races. And then the 800, you just think, I think a lot during that race because there's so many different points where I'm like, okay, I've got to do this, I've got to do this. So it might be more stressful for me to do an 800.
Yeah, that makes sense. That totally makes sense. If both of you had to swap events for a meet, who do you think would survive better? Krystie in the hurdles or Jace in the 800?
Me for sure. I think I would.
I think post-race pain, yeah, I think Krystie would survive a lot better than I would.
But only because I think I would enjoy 400 hurdles a little bit more than you would enjoy the 800. I think I'd be having fun, you'd be miserable. So that, yeah. No,
I can say I would probably be pretty miserable.
Krystie, now that you've been running the 800 for so long, though, do you still feel that pain that you guys were talking about when you go around, or has it become easier for you?
It definitely, the pain is always there, and I think that's what makes it so fun. And we do this because we love it, and we're kind of crazy because we love that pain.
Yeah.
But I think what's also really cool about this sport is that to get good or to get great, you kind of have to be able to handle that pain. And so, yes, it's always going to be hard, but in my mind, it's like, who can handle the hard the most or the longest, you know? And so that challenge is fun. It hasn't gotten easier, but the way that I'm able to approach it might be easier, I think.
Yeah. My problem is I think my heart wouldn't be able to handle it. I think I'd just be done, you know? Jace, this is your last year of collegiate track. What are your feelings as you let that fact kind of sink in?
Definitely sad. I mean, all of my best friends from the last 4 years have been on the training group of mine that I've been with the last little bit. And so I'm slowly trying to rip off the Band-Aid and delay that, the idea that this is it with these guys. I'm helping out with Kyle, my coach, next year to kind of prolong it a little bit more, where I'm going to be around the team a little bit without the competing. But it's definitely been sad, and it came so fast. So it's been crazy.
So you're going to be taking the coaching route once college track ends. Is that right?
Yeah, just to help out a little bit volunteer with my coach, just to help me slowly transition away from it.
I think that's smart. That's got to be a very difficult transition. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll have more from Krystie and Jace Jensen, husband and wife on the BYU track team. This is Royal Legacy. What's up, everybody? This is Lauren McClain from Her Why and Royal Legacy. If you like my podcast, make sure you check out Legends of 84. It's a 13-part audio documentary that dives deep into the 1984 National Championship football team. Check it out on the BYU Radio app or wherever you listen to podcasts.
And now back to Royal Legacy and your host, Lauren McClain.
Welcome back to Royal Legacy. I'm Lauren McClain here with Krystie and Jace Jensen from the BYU track and field team. Krystie, since you're pregnant, you've taken a pink shirt for this year's track season. You haven't competed. And for those who don't know, a pink shirt means an extra year is granted by the NCAA if an athlete becomes pregnant. What went through your mind when you found out that you were pregnant and you couldn't compete this year?
There was a lot of emotions at the time. And obviously, so I think I cried for 3 weeks straight when I found out, just because, like, obviously it's a hard thing to put a pause on competing in a sport that you love so much. And I kind of already feel like I've had a lot of like blips in the road, and I was finally getting fit enough that I was like, yeah, like I'm going to do really great things. And I was so excited for that. But it's been so fun to just transition into the realization that this is such a gift and a blessing that I get to do this, and I get to carry our child and give birth. Yes, it started with a lot of sadness, but I kind of compare it a lot to people who have injuries. It's like an injury because I'm taking that pause. But I do see this like happy ending at the road that I'm grateful for. And a lot of the time I feel for my teammates who have an injury because there isn't really a happy ending at the end besides just not being injured anymore. And I've always wanted to be a mom and to be a young mom as well. And it wasn't really in my plans just with running. I wanted to run collegiately, and then hopefully after college, that was my dreams too, to run afterwards. And to have this happen at this time is a blessing. And it's just giving me another year to be with my team as well, and to be here at BYU, which is another great blessing.
I think that's a beautiful perspective. And Jace, you guys got married in August 2024, right? Yeah. Okay. What was going through your mind when Krystie told you she was pregnant?
Well, I mean, initially I thought she was maybe pulling my leg, trying to get a reaction. And then I realized she was serious, and initially I was very excited, but I didn't want to not show, because I could see that Krystie was initially sad about it, with potentially what she thought was putting a whole end to her running career. And so I was trying to be very, very cautious of of ignoring her feelings.
That makes sense. But you were elated, it sounds like, the prospect of becoming a dad.
Yeah, it's just exciting.
Yeah. What were your coaches' reactions when you told them, Krystie, that you were taking a year off to have a baby?
I was a little scared walking into her office. It was me and Megan Hunter, one of my closest friends on my team. She was with me. And we walked into my coach's office, and I'm crying at the time because we had just found out like 5 minutes before that. We brought the test in to show her. And I was scared because I didn't want her to be disappointed in me. But her first reaction and words were like, your dreams are not over. Like, do not worry about what's going to happen afterwards. You will come back. Like, there was never a doubt in her mind that this isn't the end, you know? She was just so supportive and like, you can come back. Like, your dreams they might be on hold for a little bit, but they're not over. They'll still be there and you can still come back to them.
And this is Coach Diljit Taylor.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Who's amazing, right? I want to go in her office and just ask her life advice every day. She seems to always have the right words. So after hearing that, what did that mean to you coming from her?
It brought so much peace to me at that time. And I think going into her office, I was like, it's over. Like, this is another blip in the road and I'm not going to be able to recover from it. But when she said those words of encouragement, I knew that, yeah, you've gone through a blip before, so you can get through another one. And she's telling me that she believes in me. And that's all I needed to hear at the time. I needed to know that there were people out there that knew that I could come back and knew that whatever would happen, whatever obstacle would come in the road, that they'll still be chasing my dreams as well.
And she's seen that before with some of her previous runners, so she knows for a fact you can come back. I love watching your Instagram videos. You're still training, running, lifting through your pregnancy. What's that been like for you physically and mentally?
It's been a challenge for sure. It's hard, I think, to go from being so fit to being the opposite, to be feeling lethargic and slow. But what's helped me so much through it is that it's what I love to do. I don't really, like, yes, I care that I'm not slow, but I know that I'm slow, but I know that there's a reason for it. Like, it's not because I'm unfit, it's because I'm carrying a baby. And yeah, just continuing to do what I love to do, which is run and exercise. Continuing to do that makes me feel better. So, yeah.
Well, you're amazing. And Jace, how does it make you feel seeing your wife stay so strong and dedicated to her fitness and sport throughout this pregnancy?
I mean, it's incredible. I have no idea how to imagine what that's like. And so to see her overcoming those initial feelings of worry and possibly doubt that she would ever run again, and to see her thriving essentially and training with a baby and with her pregnancy it's admirable and it's inspiring.
Jace, what's it been like preparing to be a dad while still in college and competing and going to school? How are you balancing all those things?
I don't know. I'm just excited. I feel like I'm a pretty optimistic guy, and I never was like worried about how I was going to fit it all. I was just kind of like, oh, just throw it in the schedule here and we're good. Like, I don't think it's really hindered my life in any way. And so I've been really excited, and I mean, all my friends are very excited. My coach is excited. And so it's just been, Krystie's excited, and just been surrounded by everybody that's excited. So it's been really easy to anticipate and to prepare for it, because I mean, I'm excited all the time for it. So.
It's because you're still getting sleep. You're still getting sleep now, so you're doing okay. Yeah. Krystie, you're navigating pregnancy, training, and you're also going to school right now, right? Mm-hmm. So who or what has helped you balance all of that?
I think, honestly, just the idea that I can come back and be good, but also, like, all these things, part of our routine is I've been doing them beforehand, like before the pregnancy. The pregnancy is just a little bit of an added thing right now, and there's more to come, I know. But I think, just the idea that it's a schedule that I've been doing for the past 4 years. Like, I've been going to school, going to training, and so navigating the same kind of thing, just a little bit more. It doesn't scare me or seem difficult because it's like I have to do it. Not only do I have to do it, but I get to do it as well. Like, these are the things I enjoy doing.
You guys are going to be incredible. You're going to be such incredible parents. I want to know, because I bet your coaches are just ecstatic about this, because two incredible athletes having a baby, that's always a wonderful thing. Jace, have your track coaches made you sign anything saying that your kid's going to be committed to BYU? And what is it, 2043? Well, have anyone even joked about that a little bit?
Yes, it has been joked about. There's like, when we found out it was a girl, Krystie's coach obviously was very excited because she gets to coach the woman, and she was like, "Run for her!" Her famous slogan that helps motivate a lot of female athletes, and it was just, outside of that, I don't think I haven't been forced to sign anything that I am aware of.
That you know of, right? It's normal to have big dreams for your kids, but do you hope your daughter gravitates toward track and field like you guys have, Krystie?
I think track is like a great sport, and I hope that she'll probably learn to love the sport as well. But we both come from a background where we did everything. Like, we did track, we did soccer, basketball. Every sport, I think, helps with running. And so, I want her to just, whatever she wants to do is great for me. But I do think she'll be quick and a great asset within track. But hopefully, but if not, that's okay.
Krystie, your mom played basketball for New Zealand. Your dad played rugby. What was it like growing up with just incredible athletes?
It's kind of funny. Like, growing up, anywhere we'd go, we would be at the supermarket, we'd be at church. We'd come over to America to visit our family here, and there'd be people that knew my mom or knew of my mom and dad. And the constant thing people would tell me and my sister was that your parents were amazing. Like, they were the best. Like, the records they had are still there, and nobody could ever keep up with them or whatever in respective sports. But I think knowing that they were elite athletes helps me just because they're my biggest heroes. Like, I look up to them, and knowing that they've kind of done what me and Jace are going through, like, they've been where we are. They understand the process and everything that goes on behind the scenes and in the mind as well with chasing dreams. But yeah, it's cool that I get to do something that I can share with my parents, but it's the best because I know that, they've left a legacy that is really amazing.
And I wanted to know if your mom has shared or said anything to you that's kind of helped you balance this athlete, being an athlete and a mom. She mentioned the other day that this is like a really cool opportunity that she wishes she could have done earlier in her life. Like, she had me at kind of like the end of her sporting career, and she always says, like, I wish I started having kids like earlier on in my sporting career, because it's so cool to not only compete and do what you love, but to grow a family during that process and to have your children grow up around that atmosphere. Like, she's told me that, like, this is great. Like, I love that you're doing this. And yes, it might not have been your choice, but I love that you're taking on it with such like excitement. And she's just, her words have always just comforted me too. Like, she always say, you can do it because I did it. Like, you're fine. Yeah. And I totally agree with that. I think it's going to be amazing to see, for your daughter to be able to see and grow up watching both of you just work so hard at what you do. You two were married and sailed in New Zealand last August. Jace, what was it like visiting Krystie's homeland and getting married there?
Oh, I loved it. It was so pretty there, and it was just new. You know, everything's it's different, but I loved the temple and the city where we were at in Hamilton. It was, Krystie kept saying, "Oh, it's a little old, it's rough." And I thought it was gorgeous, and I was enjoying every second of it. I was like, man, like if this is ugly, like I can only imagine like with the pretty parts, right? And so it was really fun, and I love traveling and like visiting. And that was my first time meeting her mom. Was
wow
when I flew out, which was also intimidating, but it was also very reassuring because they are very just kind people over there as well.
Wow, that you're there to get married. You're like, hey, nice to meet you. About to marry your daughter. That's crazy.
I honestly felt a little bad that my mum hadn't met him yet, but they had talked on like FaceTime, and she had been obsessed with him since day one. Like she loved him and just thinks of him as a son. So she was just so excited to give him a real hug in person.
So she did get to know him a little bit just over FaceTime.
Yeah.
My last question for you guys is, and we're going to start with Jace on this. When you think about your time at BYU years down the road, what do you hope people remember about your story specifically?
I hope people remember that how competitive I was, and I like to think that I've helped others on the team become better as well. And so I hope that I've had an impact on their careers as athletes, but also as people. And so I hope that I can maintain those friendships and relationships that I've developed through running. And I hope that they always knew I wanted to win.
It's awesome. What about you, Krystie?
When I think of people on my team who have left the program now, the ones who have always inspired me, and I always look at their story and I'm like, wow, are the ones who they cared so much for the people below them. Like when we were younger, they cared so much for us, and they always cheered for us. They just looked out for us like big sisters do. And so I think what I would hope people remember about me is that I just always was excited for them. I was excited for their happy moments, and I was always their biggest fan. I think, being on a team, you're not always going to remember like the times you run or the championship wins or whatever, but you're going to remember how somebody made you feel. And so I hope that, my legacy is that I made people feel good about themselves.
And now you're both going to be able to do that for your daughter as well. I'm here with husband and wife, Krystie and Jace Jensen from the BYU track and field team. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time, and I can't wait for you guys to have that sweet baby. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thanks again to Krystie and Jace Jensen for coming on the show with me. Annie Robinson and Krystie helped produce this episode with senior producer Terry South. You can join Royal Legacy wherever you get your podcasts, on Apple, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify, or on BYUradio.org. Royal Legacy is a production of BYU Broadcasting.